Basit heads up the information services in Ntel. I don't know how many of you know what Ntel is. So maybe he will start and tell us for 2 minutes what Ntel is and how Ntel intends to respond to this Telco 2.0 challenge, given that you're sort of starting up in this day and time. It's probably a unique position. So, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Look, Ntel acquired the assets of Nitel and Ntel, and that covers the spectrums. That's the Goldilocks spectrums that actually gives the unique data services that Nigeria possesses. You know, all said, and I would like you all to pick out the most common part of what's been said so far by my colleagues, is that the poor bandwidth, the poor data quality that we don't have today is what's going to kill the ability for any of the people within the Nigerian environment to actually actualize all the things that TD had mentioned earlier on. We have poor data services. I'm sure you all can attest to that. And this is one of the things that Ntel is actually focusing on in providing abundant broadband because we are going to be launching a pure LTE 4G network that's going to span across all the key cities of Nigeria, and obviously launching in the most prominent cities based on the revenue and the population, which is Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. And that's coming very soon. You know, the way I look at Telco 2.0 is that there's been a failure of 2G and 3G and 3.5G with regards to transforming businesses in Nigeria, and even people in Nigeria actualizing what telco has provided in other parts of the world. It has transformed lives and transformed businesses. And when you capture our GDP today, you see that we actually are nowhere near where we ought to be. So whilst we're trying to jubilate and talk about Telco 2.0, we need to look at the inherent challenges. We have poor infrastructure. We have poor bandwidth access across board. We have poor collaboration between the private and the public sector. And we look at it today. I mean, I, for one, was one of the people that actually started the old enterprise department at MTN, where we believe that service, everything as a service, is really where we need to head in towards, where to simplify the ability of small businesses that will require the huge capex to start new initiatives, do not even need to think about that anymore. We need to start looking at really how to get our business started. That in today's market, if you look at the SMEs, poorly funded, because the banking sector is going to provide the cheap funds that requires them to actually do that, because they themselves cannot provide, they do not have access to the right broadband services across not just the urban areas, the rural communities where you want to transform banking services and make people that aren't banked. So you start asking yourself, what exactly is 2.0 about? It's about ensuring you have the right regulatory processes in place and collaboration with regards to providing right services to the people. It's about working with the banking sector to say, the banking sector, you can actually write on my services to provide more enterprise mobility services in environments where you do not have the network services. You do not see that today. So when you start talking about 2.0, what's 2.0? You've seen Microsoft acquire Skype from eBay. eBay acquired it for about almost $6.2 billion and did nothing with it. Microsoft today has turned it something else in terms of integrating into its own ecosystem. You've seen Apple become its own unified telco organization as well. But you can see what how they're using those transformations to change the lives of environments where the infrastructure is actually ready to provide the services to the people right down to the bottom of the pyramid. We can't do that here. What we are going to do as Ntel is change all of that notion and provide abundance broadband across the spectrum. And that's going to be based on the fact that we are going to be locking onto existing platforms like the 2G network and bolting up with the 4G LTE to actually provide the right level of availability and data bandwidth. And that for us is what's going to really bring to birth the value that Telco 2.0 provides to every business vertical. And that for me is the focus of what we are going to provide as a business. How we're going to enrich lives right across the pyramids, from the top right to the bottom. And also give growth to other business areas aside from oil and gas. Look, Nigeria today is dying for growth across celebrated business economies, sustainable economies, tourism, and even in the FMCG environment as well. And I do believe that we need to start pushing more towards an entrepreneurial lifestyle, of where we have high youth unemployment, and really have people that we need to try and stimulate them to start thinking on how to grow new businesses, develop new skills, etc. That for me really just showed exactly where Telco 2.0 needs to go and push itself into the heart of the people.